What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve.
I'm Lindsay.
We are finally back after, I think, 11 or 12 days for our first video.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be checking out why Europeans hate the taste of American chocolate. Super excited to finally be back, guys. Unfortunately, we haven't been on some wonderful vacation.
No, unfortunately not.
We have been really sick with the flu. That's what I'm guessing it's been. Very lethargic to the point that for half the time did not even want to get up to make food or anything. It's just been awful, guys. One of the worst sicknesses I've had in quite some time. I think you as well. And Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia was the last one to get sick from the three of us. But yeah, guys, we are definitely excited to get back making some videos. We've missed you guys. We've missed making videos.
You guys are healthy. Hopefully it hasn't hit you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I still feel a little bit lethargic. I'm sure you know how it is when you get really sick and you don't have any energy. Sometimes after you start getting well, it can take a couple weeks to really fully get back to your normal self. So we're going to be checking out why Europeans hate the taste of American chocolate, which we have definitely seen some of this in the comment section, specifically, with most of the audiences from the UK. So we get a lot of Brits saying that they don't like, for example, is Hershey's chocolate is the one we hear about the most. Obviously, we do have other more smaller brands that aren't like Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah.
You can get better chocolate, obviously. But I think I understand now after trying a lot of different British chocolate specifically, and also a little bit of Irish chocolate. I definitely just say that the average over in the UK and Ireland is much better than the average store-bought chocolate we have here. And so I'm curious why that is. And I've heard that people describe it, at least Hershey's chocolate, as vomit tasting, which I don't know if I would say that. And I will say, before we get started, guys, Hershey's good for one thing, and that's a s'more. Like, I don't know if you could truly make a good s'more without Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the iconic s'more taste.
Right. It's just something about the combination of the marshmallow, the graham cracker, and the Hershey's chocolate specifically that, is really good together. Yeah. But guys, enough rambling from specifically me, because I can go on and on and on. Specifically because I haven't seen you guys in so long, and I missed you. But guys, we're going to go ahead and jump in here and check out why Europeans hate the taste of American chocolate.
While us Americans are mindlessly chomping away at our Hershey's bars, some of our friends across the pond are kind of disgusted by what we're eating, even though it tastes good to us. They've said American chocolate tastes like vomit and earwax.
Earwax?
Bitter.
In some parts, it's a matter of taste, yes. But actually, there's a scientific reason why Europeans think our chocolate tastes so bad.
Okay, guys, I just want to say, I definitely, like I said, I've heard the vomit comment, but earwax?
Maybe the bitter note? That doesn't make sense.
And here's my thing. How do you know what earwax tastes like?
Haven't you ever, picked your ear and then forgot? And, after, went to put your hand in your mouth when you're eating or something and, tasted it?
I mean, maybe, but, off the top of my head, it's, not a taste that I recognize. Oh, earwax. What's that taste like? But, so I'm curious what that means exactly. What are you tasting if you say something tastes like earwax?
Bitter, I think.
Bitter.
Bitter, gross.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
First, we have to do some debunking.
If you look at the nutrition labels of a European Cadbury bar and an American Hershey bar, this is what you'll see. All the ingredients listed by net weight. You may note that in the Hershey's bar...
Why are they not comparing American Cadbury to European Cadbury?
That's kind of true.
I feel like that would be the more equal comparison.
What if they don't realize, like we did, that it was two different Cadburys?
Maybe not.
A lot of people might not even know that. But yes, in case you don't know this, I think most of the audience that's watching this probably knows this, that Cadbury in the US is actually made by Hershey's, and Cadbury in the UK, and I'm guessing the rest of Europe is probably made by, Cadbury. So...
The first ingredient is sugar, but in the Cadbury bar, the first ingredient is milk. So you might think, bingo, there's the reason some Europeans say American chocolate is sickly sweet. But actually, you'd be wrong. In the US, milk is weighed in its evaporated, powdered state, while in the UK, it's weighed as a liquid. So actually, they're pretty much the same. The other main difference is that they use different emulsifiers, which smooth the chocolate. Hershey's uses soy lecithin and PGPR, while Cadbury uses E442 and E476.
I've seen that, actually.
Again, this seems like
I don't know what it is,
but actually, E476 is just the European name for PGPR.
Oh.
Wow, that's a mouthful. Another common
What is
argument you might
PGPR?
hear is that there's a different amount of cocoa in American versus European bars. The US has a requirement for 10%, while EU law dictates that it must be at least 30% cocoa.
That is a huge
US law
difference.
says that
wow.
10% can only be cocoa powder, but the EU's 30% contains cocoa solids, aka both cocoa powder and cocoa butter. So again, they end up being pretty much the same.
You might be starting to think that this is hopeless. They're practically the same chocolate.
But these theories are focusing on the wrong ingredients. Let's now shift our attention to the most important ingredient, Milton Hershey. It was 1894 when
Not what I was
37-year-old
expecting.
candy manufacturer Milton Hershey decided to produce sweet chocolate as a coating for his caramels. It was a novel concept for the day, considering that milk chocolate was a rare treat for the rich and famous. Before this time, the intensive production process just wasn't possible on a large scale. But Hershey found inspiration from Henry Ford's production line and decided to apply that process to chocolate. It was a smashing success, and their flagship factory in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, became the Hershey Chocolate Company. In 1900, the company began producing milk chocolate in bars, wafers, and other shapes.
In 1900.
Now, I'm guessing if we could go back in time to 1900.
Oh, I bet those tasted so much better.
Oh, I
So
guarantee
everything
you.
tasted better. I mean, well, I wasn't there, but I mean, even just like a few decades ago.
I've heard stories from my mom though about like how she would walk up to the little corner store as a kid and they'd get the little penny candies and things like that and the Coca-Colas in the glass bottles, which were still around actually when I was a kid.
But it wasn't the same formula, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's better than it is today because as I remember as a kid, at least how I remember it, all that stuff tasted better. Like the Hershey cups, for example, tasted so much better, like so much fresher.
But also, as a kid, your taste buds are, I don't know, forgiving.
I mean that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
With mass production, Hershey was able to lower the per unit cost and make milk chocolate for cheap. Hershey had been competing with other chocolate companies to have the cheapest chocolate bar in stores, and therefore the most accessible. Being a savvy businessman, he knew that increasing the quality or flavor would result in slim profit margins. So he decided to focus on the back end, aka the accumulation of ingredients. After he fine-tuned his cacao, he decided to focus on the next most important ingredient in a chocolate bar, the milk. And at the time, the early 1900s, fresh milk could not be legally stored for longer than 72 hours. That put a real cramp in Hershey's style, considering that after 72 hours, any unused milk had to be thrown out. And having fresh milk in chocolate meant that it couldn't be stored as long, even in bar form. So Hershey developed a process to do something to the milk in 1930. It's actually still a trade secret to this day, but experts speculate that he created a secret process to alter the milk. It kept the milk fresh past 72 hours. It gave Hershey the edge to make the cheapest and most widely accessible milk chocolate.
Wait, it's still, whatever this secret is still a secret today, even.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's interesting. Because, I mean, Hershey's is definitely, I don't think most people, even in the U.S., would say, oh, Hershey's is the best chocolate. I mean, some people.
Some people love it, but
yeah. But I'd say for the most part, I think most people prefer other chocolates. Yeah. So, like, the fact is they have this secret that doesn't seem to really make it to where people love it more. So, like, why would they still be using this secret?
Because it's what people are used to.
The people who do love it, I guess, yeah.
But that process had an unexpected effect on the chocolate itself.
The secret method is known today as lipolysis. In lipolysis, enzymes introduced to milk break down fatty globules into smaller, more stable fat molecules. In order to kickstart this process, you first need butyric acid. It's a compound that partially sours the milk, but does give it greater shelf life. The resulting flavor is instantly recognizable. It's also found in Parmesan cheese and vomit. And particularly high quantities of it are found in baby's vomit.
Great.
It's sour and sometimes in a good way, like pungent cheeses, and sometimes
God,
in a
that's
bad
gross.
way. Obviously. It was
That's
That was
gross.
pretty nasty. Like, eating out like that. Ew.
Oh man, no, thank you. I don't want none of that chocolate. Baby vomit chocolate. And, you know, I gotta say though, I don't. When I've tried Hershey's, I don't taste the vomit taste to me. It tastes.
I feel like you only start to taste that if you eat a bunch of it. Like
Maybe.
if you eat a piece here and there,
Yeah.
it's not that noticeable. But if you want to eat like a whole bar or a bunch of s'mores, I feel like you start getting that.
I think what I'll say if I compare like. We'll use British Cadbury as the comparison here. If I compare that to Hershey's, the difference to me is that the British Cadbury seems much more creamy.
Creamy and sweeter almost.
Yeah, like
in a way.
not
It doesn't
like
have that cut of acidity.
yeah, and it's when I say sweeter, it's not like cotton candy sweeter, like that sharp, like over the top sweet. It's more like a subtle, creamy
Smooth
sweetness.
sweetness.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's definitely better. I definitely like it better.
first discovered in 1814 by French scientist Michael Chevrel, who was interested in finding the chemical responsible for the smell of butter that had gone bad.
Ew.
It's also the chemical responsible for that wet dog farmyard smell. It's secreted from dogs' anal glands. So try not to think of that next time you eat a Hershey's Kiss.
Awesome.
But don't worry, the butyric acid in chocolate is from milk.
Today, European chocolates are preserved for similar amounts of time by using different chemical preservatives and specially sealed plastic packaging. But Cadbury still recommends that their milk chocolate is consumed within a year of it being produced. So does Hershey, so by now they're pretty similar. Lipolysis allowed Hershey's chocolate to take a resounding lead in the American chocolate wars. But World War II is what caused the taste of this chocolate to conquer American palates. During the war, Hershey's chocolate scored a coveted contract to make military D rations for the American Army.
Get them
By
all hooked on it.
1925, Hershey was producing around 24 million bars a week for soldiers. These bars were a staple in the diets of the hundreds of thousands of soldiers
Wow.
away at war.
Yep.
They were so beloved that Hershey was awarded 5 Army-Navy E-Production Awards. In contrast, Cadbury, Hershey's biggest European competitor, offered up its factory to make airplane parts and manufacture wartime supplies. They didn't manufacture any food at all, and in fact, in Britain, chocolate was rationed.
This allowed Hershey to establish a taste monopoly. Almost every American soldier came home wanting chocolate that tasted the same as the one they'd been eating for years.
That makes sense.
Since
That
all of
makes
the
total
bars that
sense.
Hershey made for the government used this top-secret milk stabilization method, soldiers got used to the unique taste. In fact, they got so used to it that it became their new normal. Because of the wild popularity of Hershey's post-World War II, other chocolate companies in the US added butyric acid to their chocolate to mimic the flavor of Hershey's that
Really?
all the soldiers absolutely loved. It became a staple of American commercial chocolate.
If you're in the US, like me, you probably don't even notice it when you're chowing down on that chocolate bar from CVS.
Today, lipolysis isn't necessary due to chemical advancements in food chemistry. Hershey still does it because the taste is what all of us know and love. Some smaller independent chocolate brands have stopped adding butyric acid to their chocolate in favor of marketing it as similar to European chocolates. With trends moving towards an appreciation of organic, pure foods, Hershey may not be at the top of the chocolate world much longer. But it's hard to beat their super cheap, super accessible chocolate. So don't expect it to go away anytime soon. But Europeans certainly notice, since none of their chocolate companies use the lipolysis method or supplement their chocolate.
So on
crazy.
behalf of Americans, I am very sorry that our chocolate tastes terrible to you. But it's not our fault.
Thanks so much for watching.
Wow.
That's interesting.
That's extremely interesting, guys. So basically, in a nutshell, what I gather here is the reason that our chocolate tastes so different is what's it called? Butyric acid. So it's found in vomit, which is why a lot of people would associate that taste with vomit, that if you're in a country that wasn't used to the chocolate being produced like that. And the reason it took over is because during the war, Hershey's made a name for themselves by that's the chocolate that was sent to all the soldiers. They come back home, and then obviously they have kids. Their kids grow up eating the same chocolate their dads fell in love with during the war, and then it just goes on and on from kid to kid to kid, and basically one of the biggest chocolate makers in the U.S. is Hershey's, and so probably is the biggest. And so there we have it. That's
the
why.
The surprising thing to me, though, is she said that a lot of American chocolate companies use butyric acid. I've never... I mean, Hershey's is the one that really stands out to me that has that unique taste. I don't...
Right.
Because I'm thinking of, like, Russell Stover's chocolate, which I like. It's an American chocolate company, and it doesn't taste like that to me. But maybe they do add it. I don't know.
Maybe they're different amounts or something. Maybe Hershey's has more of it or something. But, that is so interesting, guys. I thought it was going to be something to do with, like, butter fat, the fat content or something like that, Because it's true, like
the percent of cocoa that's required.
Different things like that. Because, Cadbury, British Cadbury, it tastes, not just, you don't have that vomit taste, if you will. It's more than that. It tastes creamier to me.
Well, and to me, a lot of American chocolate, especially like the Hershey's or Nestle, they taste just like sugar. Like, we've done blind taste tests before, comparing like American versions to the similar British version, and even with our blindfolds on, we can tell which is which, because one just tastes like sugar and the other tastes like actual chocolate.
It's very interesting that I will say that the majority of people in the comments that have tried, that are from the UK specifically, or Ireland, or other European countries, have said that, most, I'd say 95% don't generally like the taste of, like, Hershey's, for example. Yeah. But I have seen a handful of people in the comments that were from not from the U.S. that actually said Hershey's was their favorite. So, and
I feel like I've also seen in the comments when we've done like war videos on World War II, I believe, or maybe World War I. It was probably World War II. That American soldiers, like, they shared stories of American soldiers sharing their chocolate with them when they were little, and it would have been a Hershey's.
It probably would have been a Hershey's, that's true, and because it was majorly rationed in the UK, obviously. But we didn't have the same issue here in America. It was sent over to the soldiers while they were overseas. That's pretty crazy. It just goes to show you how, like, you never know the reasons why a group of people love something so much until you actually dive deep into it. I mean, I would have never realized it. This all basically stems back to the war in a big way. I would have never guessed that's why. Oh, that reminds me. One other thing. You remember we were actually sent a chocolate bar that was made in the same way chocolate was made in the UK
I think, was it berry that's in it? Yeah.
And it was so different.
It was very sugary.
It was very, very sweet. I don't know if maybe because cocoa was probably harder to come by, they had to lower the amount of cocoa solids.
It was probably more sugar than chocolate.
But it was so different.
It wasn't bad.
No, it was good. It was just so different. It wasn't as creamy, and it was very, very sweet. But man, I want some chocolate now, guys. So I don't want any baby vomit chocolate.
Why did you have to stop?
I did. I stopped right here.
Ew.
Oh man, it reminds me of, like, when Sophia was little and she would just vomit.
Ew.
Babies always do that, obviously, but this was interesting. I love learning about this type of stuff, guys.
Yeah, it is cool.
So if you have any ideas of things like this we should check out, about differences in the food, in the U.S. versus the U.K., Ireland, or other Europe in general.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think we should check out next. But yeah, guys, it's good to be back. It's good to see you. We're happy to be finally back and making videos. Missed it.
I hope you're doing well.
Yes, stay healthy. We're going to try to stay healthy over here. Popping some vitamin D up in this bad boy. But guys, enough from us today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything about the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.